and we do know just from the school calendar at Abundant Life Christian School, this was the last week of school before winter break. So this final week before they turned to celebrating winter break, and now so many families are having to deal with this right before the holidays, and so it's something that many families are just hoping and praying to hear from their student, hear from their child, or their wife or husband or partner who might work at that school. So again, it's a K through 12 school, so it's a Christian school, and we know multiple injuries are reported because of a school shooting. We've been told that there will be some sort of update from authorities around 12:15, so in about 10 minutes or so. But Phoebe, we're just now, I think Washington, D.C. and politicians there are just now learning about this tragedy as it's making national headlines.
Making national headlines, and people are starting to react here across the country. We have a tweet that just came into our newsroom from Senator Ron Johnson, so I'll read to you what he said here. My sincere condolences and prayers to all of the victims of the tragedy at Abundant Life Christian School. I will continue to closely monitor the situation, and this was in reaction to a New York Post-Times that has just made the social media news there, making waves here across the country. And Gabrielle, it's not even 6 hours removed from a breaking situation this morning out of Green Bay, where police there were responding to threats of a school shooter in the Green Bay area public school district. So we're still working that angle as well. We don't know exactly what has been happening there, but that was at 6:30 this morning that police were responding to threats of a school shooting up in Green Bay.
And here is that statement once again from Ron Johnson. We're reaching out to other lawmakers as well, but Senator Johnson tweeting, "My sincere apologies and prayers for all of the victims of the tragedy at Abundant Life Christian School." And certainly prayers will be something that we'll hear from many people, as this is a Christian school and they will turn to their faith now to face this tragedy, which is something that, of course, the school had never imagined that they would have to be dealing with just days before Christmas. And so we heard from our Elizabeth Wattis. One thing that she was able to tell us is that there were school groups, so groups of students being taken to the church on that campus, which is City Church Madison. And Elizabeth is actually going to join us right now. That's where you're standing outside of, Elizabeth, where you saw some students safely being escorted into that church.
Yeah, let me show you the makeup of this area. Again, behind us is Buckeye Hills Estate. It's a neighborhood. So many neighbors have been out here just really shocked, of course, of the scene. They heard so many patrol cars zipping by them to get here. This is an active scene. You see that yellow tape up. Now, to the right, where our cameras are pointed to right now, that is Abundant Life Christian School, the K through 12 school where this active situation has happened. Again, like Gabriella said, neighbors have seen groups of children, up to 40 at a time, being escorted out of that school and taking the walk to the church that is next door. You see right now more K-9 units are going into the school. It is all hands on deck here. We know so many departments from so many different areas are here. As you can see, the street is just lined with these blinking lights here. We have the Sheriff's Department, we have Dane County, we have Madison Police, we know Monona officers, Fitch-Rona, everybody, all hands on deck here. Now that is the church over there where the majority of the police cars are near right now. And there is also an emergency management vehicle set up that just got here a few minutes ago that's in the parking lot as well. I've been talking with parents. I've been talking with community members. One parent told me she has 2 kids at school, and every day before school they pray that this doesn't happen, this exact situation. Chilling here in Madison on this day, a Monday before winter break, a time where people are supposed to be having their holiday parties, wrapping up to have time with family. This is what these kids walked into today. Now, I'm going to keep gathering information, and I will deliver it to you right away when I get it from the scene. But for now, live on scene, Elizabeth Wattis, WMTV 15 News.
Elizabeth Wattis on scene right across the street from Abundant Life Christian School. And as she mentioned, chilling is the word for it. Just seeing that crime scene tape up in front of a school is something that no one ever wants to see. It's every parent's worst nightmare. And again, our team is working to figure out how many people are injured, the extent of their injuries. And this is something that we do not know right now. So once we have that information, we will bring it to you. What we do know is that multiple people are injured, according to Madison police, due to a school shooting. So we are working to figure out this information as I actually have friends, Phoebe, from all across the country texting me, asking me what's going on as this is starting to make national headlines. And so lawmakers are also hearing about this right now as well.
Yeah, news is starting to travel. We just heard from Senator Ron Johnson not shortly ago expressing his condolences to any of the victims there at the school. And in the last 5 minutes here, we're hearing from Representative Mark Pocan, who is saying here in part, quote, "My office is aware of reports of a shooting at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison. We are in touch with local law enforcement, and we will continue to monitor the situation and offer any assistance that we can provide to our first responders." As we can deduce from both Tim and Elizabeth's live shots there, it is immense. It is heavy. They have been there for almost coming up on an hour now. We do want to turn to our Tim Elliott, who is live from that reunification center just a couple blocks from the school. Tim, what's new?
Hey, Phoebe, yeah, I just spoke with a woman who has a brother and a sister who are both teachers at Abundant Life Christian School, and she says that her brother told her, again, this not confirmed by police, that someone opened fire, a student, inside the library. So we're still trying to figure out if that information is valid. We're going to be speaking with police here, hopefully in the next 5 or 10 minutes or so. But again, this is the reunification spot just across the street from the Quick Trip here at Buckeye Road and Stoughton Road. This is where parents are being told to go to meet up with their students, although that might take quite some time to get everyone accounted for and get everyone sent over here. But as you can see, lots of emergency vehicles at this SSM Health Clinic as parents frantically show up. I spoke with one parent who told me that they were feeling terrified at the moment. They didn't know what to think. They were at a loss for words, and he was just trying to rush over to get there as quickly as he could to get any information at all that he could get about his students' well-being right now. But again, parents experiencing their absolute worst day of their lives probably right now as they try to figure out exactly what's happening here. We've been told that there was going to be a press conference here at this media staging area at about 12:15, which is obviously any minute now. So we're still waiting on that, and hopefully that we can get some basic information from police as far as what is happening. But what you're looking at right now is you're looking at this health clinic just about a mile or so down the road from Abundant Life Christian School. Lots of police officers, lots of paramedics. There's a fire truck in the parking lot, as well as parents continue to file into the lobby there of this health clinic looking for any kind of answers. Police originally told us to come here as the media staging area to this health clinic. We parked in that parking lot, and then when they saw we had a camera, they told us that the media staging area is going to be at the Quick Trip, and they were hoping that parents were going to come here. I ran into a few parents who just didn't want to talk. Obviously, they are going through a lot right now, and they are just trying to show up and just figure out any information about their loved ones up the street here at the Abundant Life Christian School. So we're going to stay here on the scene, hopefully speak with Madison police here very shortly. I saw the public information officer. She is on scene. She's usually the one who disseminates information to the media, which then we give out to you. So hopefully we can speak with her in just a moment here, and we'll carry that press conference live as soon as that happens. But again, hopefully that happens any minute now. But reporting from the east side here, I'm Tim Elliott for 15 News. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
Tim, thank you. And once Chief Barnes from Madison Police begins that press conference, as Tim said, we will bring it to you live. But if you're just joining us, we've been on the air for about 45 minutes now with the information that we know so far. So just to walk you through what has happened in the last hour, that call came in around 10:57, so just before 11 this morning, for reports of a school shooting at Abundant Life Christian School that's on 4901 East Buckeye Road. And this is where There's a K through 12 school, private school, Christian school, and we know there is a significant police law enforcement presence on scene right now, trying to understand what happened, do the investigation, account for all of the students. We know multiple injuries. We do not know just how many people were hurt or if there were any fatalities at this point.
And 200 families here attend that school. That's what we know roughly. It is a K through 12 private school, again, on East Buckeye Road. As Gabriela mentioned, multiple injuries have been confirmed. We don't know the extent of them, how many. As Tim and Elizabeth have been filling us in live here from the scene, we do want to check back in with our Elizabeth Wattis, who is just across from the school there. You've been speaking with parents and neighbors. What are you hearing, Elizabeth?
Just a small update, Phoebe and Gabriella. We've noticed in the past few minutes that we know that the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the ATF, it is a federal bureau. They are on scene right now. We saw them. I'm going to move out of the way. There's a black truck in that parking lot. We saw them getting equipment out and taking it to the scene. So, again, the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms on scene here at Abundant Life Christian School, starting their investigation into what happened, the shooting here in Madison. So we will keep you updated, but still just filled with law enforcement here on scene. It seems like the ATF was going to the church next door. I have not seen any go to the school, but we do know they are on scene right now. Reporting live in Madison, Elizabeth Wattis, WMTV 15 News.
Alrighty, Elizabeth, thank you. And more on that City Church Madison that Elizabeth was just speaking to a little bit earlier in her reporting. She was mentioning how neighbors and people that she had spoken with were watching students be ushered out of the school kind of in droves throughout the morning while this was all unfolding, being taken to that church. So again, we know roughly 200 families attend that school, but Elizabeth mentioned that students were coming out of those classroom doors about 40 ahead there. And
many of those students are unable to speak with their parents right now and let them know that they are okay. So this is part of a painstaking wait for moms and dads out there, because this perimeter, this school, K through 12, it's a fairly large school and with many different grade levels. There's a football field. The campus is fairly large. And so, this is where they have to secure that perimeter, investigate as much as they can, account for all of the students, for all of the staff, for all of the teachers. So let's now go to our Tim Elliott, who is standing by where a media press conference is set to begin momentarily. Tim?
Well, we will try
expected to come out here any minute now. We're still waiting on him. We were told about 12:15 he'd be coming out, but we're just waiting a couple more minutes, it seems like, for Chief Barnes to give the media a briefing here. We have media from really all over the state, it seems, covering this shooting that just took place right up the road here, just a mile or so. And as the parents here are still showing up, going to the parking lot at the Dean Health Clinic, or the SSM Health Clinic across the street, trying to reunite with their students, which we know will be a lengthy process as they try to account for all the students who are at that school. But again, we're still waiting on Chief Sean Barnes from the Madison Police Department to be out here. He should be out here any minute, and of course, we'll bring you that press conference live as soon as he steps out here. But he's been briefed inside the Quick Trip, I've been told, and he should be out here any minute. So as soon as that happens, we will bring it to you live. But for now, we'll send it back to you, Gabriella and Phoebe.
And we did just hear from Governor Tony Evers, who has issued a statement saying, quote, "I am closely monitoring the incident at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison. We are praying for the kids, the educators, and the entire Abundant Life school community as we wait for more information." The governor going on to thank first responders who are working quickly to respond to this incident. So this is something, that we're receiving now, lawmakers from the governor. We've heard from Congressman Mark Pocan, Senator Ron Johnson, and across the country. This is making national headlines because this is yet another tragedy at a school, another school shooting. And so we will hopefully learn more information from Madison Police about just how many people were hurt in this and more on the investigation. Let's go now to our Elizabeth Wattis, who is speaking with someone right now. Elizabeth, what can you share with us?
Yeah, Gabrielle, I want to introduce you to a neighbor, John Diaz de Leon. John, thank you so much for being here. You've been on the scene before we got here. Yep. Take me through kind of what brings you here today and take me through what you saw and heard.
Well, what I heard was ambulance, squad car, fire engine, and I thought they were on 51, but I went to the internet and looked up the scanners, and the scanners said they were doing triage at City Church parking lot, and I went, oh, what's going on at church? Because this is where I go to church, and my kids went to school here at ALCS. So I came down, and I never saw so many squad cars. I didn't know there were that many squad cars in Madison as they came to support the kids. We saw a few guys with long guns. They went in the school with a dog. And then later on, a little later on, I saw groups of kids coming out of the school in groups into the church sanctuary, probably as they were in lockdown, and clearing the building and slowly taking out the kids bit by bit by bit.
You go to church here,
Yes,
your
ma'am.
family went here.
Yes.
You've been on scene. It's been really, really emotional and scary. I mean, how are you feeling right now?
I would have never thought it would have happened in Madison, let alone at our school here, ALCS. So it's shocking. It's a strange world we live in.
How do you go forward with your church and your faith? I've heard some parents say that they're praying, and they trust in God. And what's keeping you here today, and getting through this?
I've got terminal cancer, so I'm ready to go. I've got terminal prostate cancer. We don't know when God's going to call us. He may call us today. He may call us tomorrow, a year from now. Don't know. So one needs to be ready because, as some people learned, it can happen in a moment.
What are you going to be praying for tonight?
For the kids that are still alive and shot, for their best outcome. I mean, the tragedy of all what the other kids have seen, the kids saw this and heard this. I mean, right before Christmas, how tough is that to live? And the parents, where are my kids? Maybe they still don't know if their kid has survived. How tragic can that be? I feel for the parents. I mean, if that were my kids, it would be hard. It would. I mean, I can't think of anything harder.
Thank you so much, John. And we're thinking of you and your church and your community today.
Kids. The kids that go to ALCS aren't just from from City Church. They're from churches, and some of them don't go to churches, but they're from all over the city. So this is a community event, tragic event.
Thank you so much, John. And like Tim said, we'll be hearing from Chief Barnes any minute now to get these parents and neighbors the updates and answers that they need right now. But for now, reporting live in Madison, Elizabeth Wattis, WMTV 15 News.
Elizabeth, thank you. She spoke with a man named John who said his kids at one point attended that school. He goes to that church where there are students right now waiting to be reunited with their parents. And you can hear the emotion in his voice, something that he never imagined that would happen here in Madison. Let's turn it now to Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes, who will be giving us an update.
Yeah, we see the chief just getting out of his vehicle right now and making his way over. We just saw him get out of a black SUV over there, so we're just waiting for him to step on over here and brief the media. Obviously, a lot of information, a lot of moving parts happening right now, so we're waiting on the chief. He's getting some last second information as he walks over here. If you want to point over there a little bit and show Chief walking up here with his fellow officers.
Usually this is where I start and I say thank you for coming and talk about how important the media is to our community. But the truth is today is a sad, sad day, not only for Madison, but for our entire country. We're yet another police chief press conference to speak about violence in our community, specifically in one of the places that's most sacred to me as someone who loves education and to someone who has children that are in schools. So I'm gonna tell you what I know. I'll answer any questions that I can. There'll be a secondary briefing that our PIO will let you know about, okay? Today, around 10:57 a.m., our officers were responding to a call of an active shooter at the Abundant Life Christian School here in Madison. When officers arrived, they found multiple victims suffering from gunshot wounds. We train on this almost quarterly. The last time we trained on this as commanders was approximately 2 weeks ago. The protocols are simple. Stop the killing, stop the dying, find out who's doing this. And the officers did that, and they did that adamantly. We had officers from around the county and around the state that came in support of this particular incident. Officers located a juvenile who they believe was responsible for this deceased in the building. Additionally, the officers began administering life-saving efforts to anyone who was wounded and making sure that those persons were transported. What we know is that a total of about 7 persons were transported from this scene to area hospitals for treatment. We know that at least 3 people have lost their lives, including a juvenile person. I don't have any other information about those persons who have lost their lives, and I'm not going to release that until we have, of course, spoken with family members and ensuring that they are fully aware of this tragic, tragic scene that occurred today. I want to thank all of the law enforcement partners and community members that came out to help. Our friends at the ATF. I've gotten calls from my friends at the FBI, the State Patrol, the Sheriff's Office, Monona Police Department, our fire department. It goes on and on and on. Because this is something that we all prepare for, but we hope we never have to do. As you can see, we have a unification center that was immediately set up where parents and guardians and loved ones and grandparents wanted to get information about their loved ones, and we wanted to make sure that they were unified immediately. So we were doing more than one thing at one time. We're still going through methodically clearing that school, clearing every vehicle, and making certain that there's no other threats to this community, which we believe there are none. We immediately alerted our mayor's office, and I've been on the phone with her and her office constantly. We also alerted Madison schools. We put the schools on lockdown, but there's no threats to MMSD schools at this time. But we wanted to make sure that we did our due diligence in this particular case. Again, we're still going through collecting evidence, collecting information, making sure that our community is safe from what is a sad day for our community and for our country. And we have to do a little bit better. I don't have all the answers that you want right now, but I will tell you this: we have some of the best officers in the entire country. Our detectives are amazing. We're going to go and work hard and go through this scene so that we can piece together what exactly happened. Again, there'll be another briefing in about 2 hours, and if I have additional information, I will certainly let you know what that information is. Again, around 10:57 a.m., officers responded to an active shooter. They responded per our protocol. They found the person who they believe was responsible, who was down, deceased. We know that it's juvenile. We know that there are other persons who have lost their lives. We know that we've transported about 6 people after giving them life-saving measures. It's important to notice, too, that about 3 miles from here is our training center. Today, our special event team medics were in training. And so they got to practice in real time. They left the training center immediately and came down here and doing in real time what they were actually practicing for. And that's why training is so important, and making sure that we can provide the best possible training and the best possible response for our community members. I'm asking everyone to send your heartfelt wishes and prayers and thoughts yet again to a community, but this time it's my community. Dylan?
Yeah, can we start over here with
Sure.
questions?
Chief, you mentioned you're a father. You're the police chief here in Madison. What emotions are you feeling right now after going through all that?
To be honest with you, I'm feeling a little dismayed now. I'm so close to Christmas. Every child, every person in that building is a victim and will be a victim forever. And these types of trauma don't just go away. And we need to figure out and try to piece together what exactly happened. And right now, my heart is heavy for my community. My heart is heavy for Madison, and we have to come together as a community and figure out what happened here and make sure that it doesn't happen in any other place that should be a refuge for students in our community.
right there.
What sort of gun-related policies, if any, were in place at the school have metal detectors?
I'm not aware that the school had metal detectors, nor should schools have metal detectors. It's a safe space. So I don't know. Again, it is a private Christian school. It is not under the authority of MMSDs, and that is something that we would have to look into.
Chief, of the 7 victims, how many are students? How many are teachers?
I'm not going to give any information about who the victims are, whether they're students, staff, or parents, because we need to make sure that we can notify people. I think that's the most important thing before we go any further.
But police they never fired their weapons.
That is correct. Correct. I don't know if it's a male or a female, but the police department did not fire their weapons. Thank you.
Scott, are there 3 fatalities you mentioned, including the suspected shooter?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
3 total.
That's correct.
Are the 7 that was transported, are the 3 fatalities within that 7 or addition to that?
Yes, within that 7. Yes, thank you.
Was the shooter a student at the school?
We believe the shooter was a student at the school. Yes.
What can you tell us about the status of the other transports?
We know that they range from minor injuries to life-threatening. I know that's a huge, spectrum, but that's what we know now. And so we need everyone, again, to send your thoughts and your prayers out to them. One thing I do know is that we have some of the best medical care in the country here in Madison. And so we hope that everyone will recover, but at this time, we don't know.
So we did just get an update from our command post. 5 deceased at this time, 5 injured.
So total 10.
You know what kind of gun was used?
Again, this is a ever evolving situation. Just hearing that, what does that make you think? How does that make you feel? That we have to do a better job in our community on a Monday, right? So close to Christmas, that we're updating victims. And so there's a lot of work that has to be done, and we're committed to doing that work. We just ask for your patience. I think the most important part is the reunification, again, that we spoke about, making sure that those persons who were in the schools, whether they're staff, students, or what have you, are reunified, and we have done that. Again, I want to say thank you to all our partners. Again, our friends are here from the ATF. They're going to help us. I heard the question about the gun. I don't know yet, which is why we have a great partnership with the ATF that will help us determine the origin of this gun and where it happened. So I'm gonna leave it at that, and we will have another press conference. Stephanie has the location.
We're doing 2:30 at Fire Station 14 in their community room. 2:30, Fire Station 14.
Steph,
Okay.
can you confirm the 5 who are dead? Does that include the shooter?
That doesn't include
It was.
Are the victims students, teachers, a mix?
Yeah. Again, we're not going to talk about that until we notify all the families that may be involved. Again, this is an ever evolving situation, and we're trying to figure it out. What did you say?
Has the school been cleared? Are all the students out of
The school has been through a secondary clearing. We're doing another one now with the help of bomb dogs, just in case. We want to clear vehicles and things of that nature. So we're going to take our time, and we're going to go through, and we're going to do everything that we can. So
All right,
thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, at Fire Station 14, the community room.
Are the students still in the school right now on lockdown? They're out. Okay, thank you. Okay, that was Chief Sean Barnes right there from the Madison Police Department, and you heard the update mid-press conference right there. We now know that 5 people are dead, including the shooter, so we have 4 victims here, and it appears the shooter took their own life as well, and then 5 other people injured, taken to the hospital, for a total of 10 people altogether affected like this that have been hurt. And hearing that mid-press conference, that number just increased like that, it's hard to hear on a day like today, on a Monday morning. You drop your kid off at school, and some parents aren't going to go home with their child later today. So it's tough to hear. And the chief, obviously very shaken up by what has happened this morning in his community, as he should be. A lot of parents still rushing to